Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Scout 6316, 8.8 for 6,000. Got 6316, North Approach, going to maintain 3,000, number 1 for the right. 3,000, Scout 6316. Redwood 811, going to maintain 4,000. Airport's open to Fox 1.
We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over again. We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over again.
6 Roman Carefly, runway heading, runway 5. Let's take off.
Check!
And we are ready for takeoff. Sit back, relax. It's time to travel with Cosmic Passport. Spaced Out Weekend presents Elizabeth Anglin's Cosmic Passport. A 1-hour warm-up of news, stories, thoughts, and ideas to captivate your mind. You can follow us at spacedoutradio.com.
Now 20 years have passed us by, and we look back and count the time. Burning like the summer sun, when the world was young. As I lay staring from the ground, and 7 trumpets wait to sound.
And now, here's Our Lady of Flight, Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
It is I, not Elizabeth. It is me, James, as we take you into part 2, or as they say in French, El Parto Tuo. No, I'm pretty sure that's not how they say that. But then again, I only spent six weeks learning how to speak French, and trust me, I've spent 1,000 years trying to speak English, and it's still not working. But tonight we're going to part 2 with author Mike Clelland, and he has collected a wealth of first-hand accounts in which owls manifest in highly charged moments that surround alien contact. He is the author of... what is the author of? The Messengers. Now, The Messengers, if you want to look that up, just Google Mike Clelland, Clelland. He's the author of The Messengers, Owls, Synchronicity, and the UFO Abductee. And they are on tonight before 2 mediums and a large, coming up in 1 hour. Now, I've always wanted to do this, so let's introduce a part 2 of Mike Clelland, his Mystery and Mythology of Owls.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Tonight, as we join our stalwart companions, author Mike Clelland and Elizabeth Anglin, we find that they were deep in discussion from last night as we carry on in part 2 of Mythology of Owls and the relationships to extraterrestrial abductees. And tonight, we find them deep in thought, discussing, is it possible that only abductees have a relationship with the owl?
You know, I don't think you have to be a UFO abductee to have a powerful owl experience. I would be foolish to say that. I think that all kinds of people can have powerful owl experiences that would take on a more of a totem role or more of a symbolic role. But my sense is that people recognize this throughout the ages, that these owls had this power. You know, that there's nothing I'm experiencing that someone didn't experience outside their hut. You know, like out in the plains of North Dakota at one point, or you know, wherever in the jungles of Brazil. As far as my having a lot of owl experiences and then being forced to go on basically, you know, an internal journey to try to answer the questions. I sense that the UFO occupants know that and are somehow choosing or orchestrating the owls for very specific reasons, for archetypal reasons, where the owl would still have its mythic power today. Like we, you know, for the most part, we live in a society where we don't give any credence to these ancient myths. So if we see an owl, we're just seeing a bird. That wouldn't be true if you're, you know, walking down the path in your village, you know, where, you know, 500 years ago, let's say in anywhere, you know, in northern Russia or southern Africa, you know, the owl would have some message, and that's deciphering what that message might be is the challenge. I apologize. I come up with some conclusions. I have to be pretty cagey because the owl mythology is so rich and so deep. That and so there's some threads that are consistent, but you know, like I could cherry pick the data. Like I could pull, you know, an excerpt from a Wikipedia page here, from an encyclopedia page here, from a shaman book here. I could pull what I wanted out of it and make it fit what I want it to be, and I had to work very hard to make sure not to do that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, what's interesting to me is, you know, I've been in support group and I've heard abductees talk about experiences with animals, and there are things that, I don't know if you've ever been in a support group, I know you've talked to a lot of people, which is probably the same thing, but there, you know, sometimes researchers will come up with stuff like, you know, you'll be protected from aliens if your dog is with you, and I'm like, how many experiences do I know where that's not the case?
Oh yeah,
you know?
if you say the name Jesus or something like that. Yeah.
Or you say the name Jesus, or it's all this, or it's all that. But I'm thinking about, you know, experiences where the pets were involved, and that there is telepathic communication. There is also some form of mind control that goes on, and so when you're saying, you know, the aliens are in some way using owls as messengers, or employing owls to announce their arrival, and you know, there is this deep hardwired archetypal owl mythology perhaps in our systems, but I'm just thinking about the nuts and bolts of the telepathy of, Can you make an owl, you know, if you're telepathically connected to an owl, can you, you know, influence the owl? Like I've heard people talk about their dogs being influenced, or their cats, and apparently being influenced. So did anybody talk about that? Or
well, I talked about it at great length, in the book where you know, if there's no other animal on Earth really that fits the role of the owl, right? They have perhaps the most amazing hearing of any animal, and they have perhaps the most amazing eyesight at night of any animal, especially any animal that flies. So here you have this animal that is the most advanced input receiver of perhaps any animal on Earth. You know, the ability to, you know, the other animals, perhaps like a bear, can smell very well, and you know, so. Is it possible that the owl is sensing something and seeing something that we don't even have, we can't pick up? Are they seeing the aura of the abductee? Are they seeing into the future a little bit? Are they being co-opted by the UFO occupants for some reason? I mean, is it just as easy for, I just get the sense that the UFO, the invisible flying saucers hovering out there somewhere, they're about to make their presence known. They must be able to, I doubt it's a little button on their dashboard. I suspect it's much more telepathic. I suspect that they, and I'm going out on a limb, this is all speculation, just so I don't have any proof of any of this, but my sense is that they can somehow usher in the owl. Say, okay, let's pick an owl, let's have it fly in, let's have it make sure that the experiencer sees the owl, and my sense is there is an archetypal reason that the owl is delivering a message subconsciously just by its presence that the experiencer may pick up on, though not consciously. So, and then on a very pragmatic level. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, it could be an energetic adjustment. I mean, if you have so for example, you think of. I'm talking about, some people will hear energy and they'll go, oh, poo, poo, poo. But I think enough people listening to this will understand that when, as mediums, we adjust our energy to be able to receive messages from the other side. So we have, a whole process that we go through where our physical energy changes, our mental energy changes. Some of us go into deep trance. We won't remember it because our energy is so different than our normal waking energy. We don't keep long-term memories or even short-term memories very often. Now, I'm not one of those. I keep most of my memories because I'm an experiencer and I freak out when I forget things. But I do adjust my energy a lot. And oftentimes, if you have one person in a room with a certain energy, or a dog, or a cat, or a rock with a certain energy, whoever is in contact with that will start to resonate at the same frequency. So perhaps what's going on, and this is me going out on a limb, is that the owls maybe carry an energetic frequency, go near the experiencer or the abductee, and somehow adjust the energy to, just slightly or just enough so that they can become aware that the ship is there. That's me. What do you think?
That is, I say something. Well, actually, I don't say it. There's a woman named Jacqueline Smith who says something very similar to that. She's an animal communicator, a channeler. She channels spirit animals, the animal spirit. She'll channel the animal spirit. And she's written a book on that, and she's written a book on animal communication, and she's also written a book about her UFO contact experiences. So she, in essence, says very close to what you just went out on a limb and said, and she said it while channeling an owl. So, so that the I think the term, and I have it in the book here, is to announce initiation. That is the role of the owl in these experiences, and in a very shamanic initiation way.
Yeah, and initiation, for any Reiki practitioners out there, what we understand initiation is a new input of energy. Initiation can be as simple as creating a connection, an energetic connection, or creating an energetic pathway. And so when you create that energetic pathway, there's new information, there's new relationship, there's new connection, there's new oneness, with other beings. The ability to, when you're resonating on the same frequency, oneness, that, all right, we're all energy, we're all connected by energy. So cool. Yeah, we think
so just what you said, which I in fact will probably go back and clean and listen to that again and. Because that was very, very close to what Jacqueline Smith said. And that's just not Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels from the 70s. That's just, it's spelled slightly different. So,
okay. Jacqueline? Is it Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, yep. Okay. Jacqueline Smith, animal communicator. Yeah, she does animal communication work, and she's right there in it's written books and stuff like that. So her books are available and she's in the bibliography and footnoted in the book and everything. So.
Oh, we'll have to look her up. Maybe we'll have her on talk some more about that.
Oh yeah, she would be a good fit for you. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so what else? What else cool did you learn when you were writing this book that you didn't expect?
What I didn't expect? What I didn't expect was, so here's what I expected. I expected to write an essay. This is going back a few summers ago, and I just I'll just write this essay up. And I kind of worked pretty hard on it, and it was threw myself into it and treated it seriously, and I wrote this essay, and it was about 40 pages, and I kind of figured, I'm done. And that wasn't the case. That what I found was that this is a much deeper well, seemingly bottomless, of information. I mean, this is, in one sense, like the tiniest little fractal corner of the UFO lore, right? I mean, it doesn't get any more peripheral than the owl, right? I mean, the owl doesn't show up in every UFO report, and it's certainly, it's not like doing a study of, how to say it, like a flying disc. That would everyone reports that, but so the owls aren't reported by everyone, but there's enough of a consistency in what does get reported, and enough of a pattern that I saw that there was something there. So I peeked into this little pigeonhole, cubbyhole corner of this great big mysterious phenomena, and that little cubbyhole was bottomless. That was what I found, is that these stories just resonate and reverberate and just show up in the weirdest ways. One of the things I did for the book was have you heard of reverse speech analysis?
No, but it sounds really cool. What's that?
Okay, so a clinician, a therapist would talk to a patient and record their voice as they're talking. So, and I did this myself, and I actually did it after researching some other ones where owls were coming up, and UFO abductees were having a lot of owl things come up in their reverse speech analysis. So the therapist would, this is, in my case, it was a fellow named Wayne Nicholson. I got along with him great, very gentle, caring therapist. And he was just like, okay, just keep talking. We talked for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And he's like, great, okay, I think I have enough stuff here. He then, listened very carefully to the entirety of that backwards, literally putting the tape on backwards, so the gobbledygook, and within that, he pulled out these little snatches of dialogue. And some of them are remarkably clear. Some of them are a little bit foggy and a little bit garbled, and you sort of have permission to just move beyond those. But some of them are shockingly clear. And forward. Here, let me just look some of this up. I have some of the stuff right here. I'll just get I had a confirmation, what I called my confirmation event, which was all these experiences. And so forward, I said, my confirmation event was lining that stuff up on the map. And there was an event that took place, took a long time to explain it fully, where I had 3 separate UFO events. Well, let's say 3 separate unusual events. And then eventually realized I could line them all up in a perfectly straight line on a map. So forward, while talking to Wayne Nicholson, recorded forward, I said, my confirmation event was lining that stuff up on the map. The reversal was many owls. And I just thought that was so powerful. And there was a lot. And this was right at you know who Anne Strieber was, correct?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Anne Strieber, wife of author Whitley Strieber, died this summer, and it was shortly after she passed that I had the conversation with Wayne Nicholson. And I would have to look it up in the book here. I won't do it right now. But basically, I mentioned her forward. I said, oh, you do know that Anne Strieber died this last week. And played backwards, it says, I'm here. Which is eerie. I mean, the implication is Anne Strieber was there somehow in the room, or somehow and how this takes place, I don't think anyone could figure out. But so what was happening is Eve Lorgan. Have you familiar with her work at all? She wrote the book Alien Love Bite.
I haven't read it because I'm afraid of it. It's kind of like, that's something I don't want to know about.
Thing, so.
Yeah,
so
it's like I don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she did some work which was I don't think there was any judgment in the reverse speech analysis she did, but she was recording abductees and then playing their recordings backwards, and a lot of owl things were coming up. Here, I'll just look up in the book here because this won't take too long. But so this is, I'm just using this as an example of just what you asked, what came up that I didn't expect, and what was coming up is just how weird this stuff was and how endless it is. Okay, this is a UFO abductee was recorded about her experiences, and forward she said, because she remembers an orange light, right?
Right.
That's sort of a question, right? So she remembers an orange light, right? And reversal is care. The owls knew it was their memory ship. It's got a little bit of a Zen koan to it, right? It's kind of a little bit, it's a little bit more like poetry rather than a clean answer.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting. So that was, so you asked me, what surprised me, and that's what surprised me is just the absolute depth of this stuff, and I was getting one story on a Monday, where an owl would interact with a woman on a hammock, a woman UFO abductee on a hammock, and she had an owl experience with two owls. And then on Tuesday I would get another story, and it was a UFO abductee, a woman who was on a hammock, and she saw a UFO. So here's these parallel stories. They're mirroring each other. One woman sees a UFO and one woman sees an owl. They arrive within 24 hours. I had a bunch of examples of things like that, and I had to trust in the not only in the stories themselves, but how they were arriving in my lap.
Mm-hmm. It seems like there's an energetic of how they arrived in your lap. Like, okay, so now we're resonating with, it sounds silly, but now we're resonating with hammock. Now,
and yes, we're resonating with hammock, or we're resonating with crop circle, or we're resonating with balcony. I have a back-to-back set of stories with balconies. It's just fascinating to me.
Yeah, and yet it's all, it keeps it nice and organized for you, so you don't have to work too hard to make connections.
Well, with organized, maybe, yeah. I mean, I was, it's funny because at a couple of points I say I'm very cautious not to make these connections, and then I go ahead and make these connections. And some of it's a little bit, like I tried to keep my speculation to the minimum and let the stories tell themselves. But some of the things I had to point out, like, wow, this is really astounding.
Yeah, this happens in energy work a lot, where we get the same kinds of clients. We'll get a whole slew of them, or 2 or 3 of the same types of clients, and then it'll move on, and then we'll get a new type of client, and then we'll get, so it's something we haven't learned yet will come in a patch or a packet of the same thing. So it's very shamanistic, it's very mediumistic to get that kind of synchronicity that you're talking about, that we're coming with owl stories. So it's almost as if it's orchestrated by spirit. Interesting.
And I agree. My sense is that it's... Oh, go on.
No, I wish my dog would stop barking. But memory ship, I'm really interested in that. Go back to that. It was Eve Lorgan talking back. Her reverse analysis was the owls knew it was their memory ship, or it was another experience. Let me
just open the book again. Here, I got the book right in front of me. I'll read it again. Yeah, so this is, and there's a bunch of them in this series. I mean, some of them they're kind of playful in some ways. So this is the example. So forward, because she remembers an orange light, right? Mm-hmm. And the reversal was care. The owls knew it was their memory ship.
how could it even do that? I mean, she wasn't even using the same consonants. That's bizarre.
Well, it's funny because it's for the gobbledygook backwards, forwards. It's a little bit. I mean, it doesn't sound perfectly clean. It sounds a little bit like it's garbled, but I mean, you can definitely pull that one out, and that one is actually online, if I'm not mistaken. I think I give the links to that in the book on how to listen to these online. So,
did anybody make more of an analysis of just the idea that it was their memory ship? Because I'm going to go out on a limb again and say, when I've been up in the wilderness and I've talked to wild animals, they get really bored with us. Like, we present as quite boring. We don't have a lot of useful information sometimes, or at least maybe I don't. I would like to say that, I am the most interesting human being to walk across the face of the backcountry, but no, unfortunately, the animals tell me that's not the case. But ships, by and large, have a lot of information across dimensions. And I'm wondering if maybe there's an attraction because it's interesting and they learn things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Maybe. Maybe,
owls.
or my sense the memory ship would be to me in that sense would be the hidden memories of the experiencer.
Ooh, and that there is a barrier, that there's a block. So
I mean, if it's metaphoric, sure, the memory ship is that's where the hidden memories are.
Yeah, that's where the memories go. That's the black hole of the memory.
I don't know. I'm just riffing on this. Yeah.
It could be that. It could be do ships time travel, and is that in some ways like memory, because memory is our closest waking form of time travel. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, we are time traveling right now. The clock is ticking. We're moving forward in time. We are time traveling. So,
but we're also going back in time because we're thinking about something that already happened.
Yes, we're thinking about memories. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That is very, very, very interesting. Okay. Not to get too personal, but I want to change the subject. You've had a lot of personal change since you kind of came to grips with all of this. Was any of that sort of foretold by owls, or was anything helped along by owls? Did you have an owl matchmaker? That's what as a girl, I have to know. We need to know.
Well, the relationship, I mean, my partner, Andrea, and I have had some powerful owl experiences, and we met at a UFO conference. She's also an experiencer, and she has a very vivid dream life, and this is, she basically, and she, obviously knew I was the owl guy, and she said, I've got I've got a bunch of dreams that are interesting. Here, let me just, so she finds this, she'd been writing her dreams down, and she had a little, middle envelope, and inside there was a printed out sheet of her dreams, and the very first one was, the story of her being lifted up and escorted into a tree by an owl. And that was the very first dream in the very first page. So, so I would say yes. Yeah, there is a sort of matchmaker quality to the way we met, and a very powerful experience in that alone. And then owls certainly played a part of that. Yeah, owls. Less so. We had one very profound experience where her and I saw a real owl in the yard here in the house that I'm sitting at. We're up in upstate New York, and so there's owls here, and it's wintertime, and so wouldn't be unknown to see an owl. But she saw an owl in full daylight and called me out into the yard to see it. She had just pulled in. It was interesting. Her normal parking space was full. Someone was parked there, so she had to park in another spot where she usually doesn't. So she was facing the trees in a way she wouldn't normally be parking. So as soon as she pulled in, she was looking straight at an owl on a branch, and she called me out on the phone. She was in the driveway. And she said, Mike, come out. And so we went out and watched this owl for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I had a camera. I was capable of just standing above her. I'm tall, and she's short enough below me that I could just stand right above her head and take pictures of this owl. Full daylight, sunny day, wintertime, snow in the trees, barred owl, very calm, staring at us. And then at a certain point she said, uh-oh, something weird's happening. And then as she was sitting there, she was describing the color shifting, and there's a distortion that was taking place, and I was standing right above her taking pictures in the moment. I saw none of this. And this story has so many threads connected to it. Like I had been trying to get a hold of a shaman. Do you know who Sequoia Trueblood is?
Yes, I do. I do know Sequoia Trueblood.
He was friends with. Yes, and so I had been trying to get, because John Mack quoted him, and I said I got to confirm this quote. Like John Mack just kind of quoted him off the cuff on an audio interview, and I'm like, I got to find this guy Sequoia Trueblood and see if he really said that. And the quote was, and I'm doing this off the top of my head here, where John Mack in an audio interview with Whitley Strieber had said, so Sequoia, like you've talked to a lot of these shamans and you've met a lot of medicine men in your years. How many of these people have had this experience, this contact experience, the thing that I'm researching? This is John Mack talking. And Sequoia Trueblood said, all of them. And I thought that was very, that was strong. So I wanted to check in with him. And he did, in fact, say that. And he softened it a little bit when I spoke with him directly, and he said that it would have been more that, the alien contact experience and other experiences that would, so less so being dragged onto a UFO and more so interacting in a journeying way with these beings. So he. But I had been trying to get a hold of him, and he didn't, so you go online, and it's a mess trying to get a hold of him. I found one little clue. He was at a college, and so I just sent this email off and said, listen, if you get a hold of Sequoia Trueblood, have him call this number. So I come back into the house, and bring, the phone rings, and it's the college, and they say, oh, here's Sequoia Trueblood's phone number. And so, oh, great. So I dial him right up. That was minutes after seeing this owl in the yard that I finally got a hold of this shaman. And I told him that during the phone call, and he laughed. He said, oh, I'm not surprised. That's how this works. So that was just one small little part of this huge spider web of synchronicities and repeating stories and similar accounts, and it just went on and on and on and on and on. And I tried to document it. I mean, the problem with trying to put this stuff in a book is that story alone is nearly a novel, so I have to tell it in a way that's, I can't put the reader to sleep, connecting so many threads. But there was another story that I received, and it was a woman. Her name is Jessica, and she wrote me saying that, this was right around the time in my life when I realized I had psychic powers. I was starting to try to work with these skills, and I was lying down in bed, and I looked out of the window, and it was just in that kind of dream state. I was awake. I wasn't sleeping, and I wasn't dreaming, but I was awake. An owl landed on a branch outside the window and looked at me, and then a blue beam zapped the owl from on high, and then out of the owl's eyes came another beam that zapped her while lying in bed, and it zapped her in her third eye. And then she went on, I would have to look this up and get the quotes directly, but she went on to say that, basically described this as a download. And it was exactly what Andrea had said. She said this was a download. So here's these two people, two owl experiences. The day, I said, okay, no, Andrea, you write down exactly what you think this is. How would you explain your download thing? So she writes it down, and then that was before I showed her what Jessica had written, because I knew how this was going to play out. And so you read these two statements side by side. Well, let me just do it. Let me just find these in the book here. You know what I'm going to do it on? I'm going to do it another way. I may ask you to talk in a second here just to help me. No, I think...
I'm just thinking about the download thing. I mean, that goes with the resonating energy thing. It's like if the owl shows up it shifts your energy because it's resonating at a certain frequency. It shows up, your energy shifts, and then you're ready to receive a download, much like a medium would be from a spirit. Only this would be from a UFO or from a different dimension or from, another type of being with a spirit or group or whatever. So, anyway, go on.
Okay. So here's what Andrea said. She said, the download, she said, a strong sense of knowingness, as if something was imparted, and this would reveal itself when the time was right.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just go up to Jessica's. I'm scrolling through the... And I asked Jessica what she sensed what her experience was, and I asked her what she had received in the download, and this is what she said. In all honesty, I don't know. I feel the answers may come when I am ready, or it may forever be an unspoken thing. She feels like it was a gift, and she would be guided to an answer. And that was very similar to what, or not very similar, strikingly similar to what Andrea said. So the night I go through this, where I ask, Andrea to write this down before I show her what Jessica said. That night, full moon, we're sitting, which is something we rarely do, is we were sitting reading books in the living room. She's in one chair, I'm in another, we're reading. And she all of a sudden goes, oh my God, wow. And I'm like, what is it? And she's reading a book by Lisette Larkins called Talking to Extraterrestrials. It's a book on how to channel extraterrestrials. And Lisette Larkins talks about an event where she had a download from a hawk, and it was very similar, exactly the same thing. Locked eyes, timeless zone, felt like information was being imparted. Now, I made an effort to get a hold of Lisette Larkins, and it took a little while. I had to go through her publicist and find her email address, so I sent her an email. And when she got back to me, she said, oh, that's funny. The day you sent the email to me, the day I received that email, she lives in California, and she's a grandmother, I think, and she had kids at the pool and in the yard, and there was splashing and commotion, so there's grandkids and dogs barking and stuff like that. And in the middle of all of this, an owl lands on the flagpole in the middle of the pool, like right where they were hanging out at the pool.
Right.
Kids splashing, dogs barking, owl at the flagpole, full daylight. And she said, yeah, that was the day I got the email from you. Now, Lisette Larkins, Andrea's middle name is Lisette, which is not that common of a name. So it was, and I don't have an underlying message to all this. I guess the only thing I can say is that what it is doing for me, it is these striking synchronicities are confirming. In a way, they're confirming something I don't need confirmed anymore, because I feel like I feel pretty strongly, but they're confirming that this stuff is vital. It's not only is it real, but it's important and vital. If it wasn't, it wouldn't generate this powerful web of synchronicities.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a remembering. Maybe it comes back to remembering. One of my questions is that I didn't get to see your whole 105-minute video.
Oh, yeah, I can talk. I get that. Yeah.
But I was wondering if, sometimes I like to think about how long we human beings have been in contact with extraterrestrials or UFOs, or and I think about, I sometimes will do remote viewing, and then I'll say, well, I've got no validation for that, so I'll just run away from that and I won't check. But was there anything that you found in your research that would suggest that owls and the UFO experience is much, much, much older than we give it credit for? That it goes back into history and prehistory, stone circles and whatnot.
Well, there's certainly plenty of evidence that owls have played a very symbolic and important role throughout all of human history. That's very clear. Like, I have no doubt about that. There's a mythological, like any mythologist, would be able to there's a wealth of information, too much information on the ancient lore of the owl in history, often associated with women. An owl is a night creature, so the owl is associated with the moon in the same way that the eagle is associated with the day. So eagle is very masculine. Zeus is his symbol is the eagle. Zeus's daughter, Athena, her symbol is the owl. She's a night. The moon would be the 28-day cycle. So that's the confirming the feminine, or linking it to the feminine. But I don't have any. I don't have an ancient tale of an owl and a UFO. There are certainly. That's where the modern story shows up. My sense is that on some level, and I speculate about this in the book, and others have come to the same conclusion too, and I've interviewed them, as a fellow named Joe Lewells, a very interesting researcher out of Texas. He and I both agree that what has happened is that if the owl is the totem of the shaman, okay, and then if the UFO experiencers are in a form of shamanic initiation, whether through the entirety of the UFO contact experience in John Mack's book Passport to the Cosmos, that the whole book is about that, comparing and contrasting the ancient rites of the shamanic passage to the modern accounts of UFO contact. And if the owl is the totem animal of the shaman, then what I'm sensing is, I've heard so many stories where I've heard I was a kid, I would wake up and the owl would be peering through my window. Now you tell that to the parents, and the parent says, "Oh, it's just a bird," or "Oh, you just had a bad dream." You tell it to the UFO investigator, and they're like, "This could be a telltale sign of a screen memory. You may be an abductee." You tell that to the shaman. My sense is the shaman would say, "Ooh, an owl was visiting you as a child. Okay, that would be the sign of of you may be on the initiatory path, for your own shamanic role." Now, I cannot tell you how many experiencers I've met who will just say, "Oh yeah, now I do psychic work. I'm a working psychic, or I'm an animal communicator, or I do Reiki therapy, or I do massage therapy, or I do help people with past life regression hypnosis." And and these to me are shamanic. If they're not shamanic in their literal interpretation, they play a shamanic role in our present day culture. To seek out now someone leaves their yoga class and they go and then they seek out a Reiki therapist because they have some emotional issue that they're struggling with. Where in ancient times, you would have left the teepee and sought out the shaman to help you with your emotional troubles. Or spiritual troubles, that might be a better word.
Yeah, it's an easily accessible. When I learned Reiki, I realized I had kind of come home, because I was like, well, okay, here I am, supposedly on the shamanic path. I'm not Native American. I know enough not to go on the wannabe path. Well, I'm kind of sort of a little bit Native American, but probably not that much. I can't really go on that path, and Reiki was a way. It's an accessible way for somebody who's on the path to get training, and then get training through spirit, or get training through direct means. And I felt like I'd come home. Oh yeah, this is a way I can be a shaman without having to go try to join somebody's tribe, where I don't belong, because that's not. I didn't get born there, so. I think we're stuck in the realm we're in right now, and so again, I don't think there's it's very problematic to go through a shamanic apprenticeship and get fully
I think it's very difficult to
it's
take on the role of the shaman in our present day society, but it's easier and maybe more effective to take on the role of the Reiki healer.
Yeah, or the Qigong person or the energy worker, because that's basically you're doing the same sort of thing, energetically. Mrs. Takata, who is the person who brought Reiki here, did go interview shamans, and they said, "Oh yeah, you're doing what we're doing." So, like,
that's my sense, and my sense is that you talk to. The blurring between the shaman and the UFO abductee gets very. It's a murky subject, but at the same time, it is just so filled with these like little forms of confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Have you found? Did you get in your writing of the book? Did you find multiple metaphors stacked on top of each other? Did that happen to you? Like, you could look at the owl this way, or you could look at it that way, or you could look at this event this way, but you could also look at it that way.
The whole book is trying to like step back from the owl, and is the owl? Compare and contrast owls and UFOs, right? So they both are seen mostly at night, right? If you see a UFO during the day, it's a big deal. If you see an owl during the day, it's a big deal. Both fly with an eerie silence. Both fly with an eerie stillness. They move through the air in an unusually smooth way compared to any other bird. An owl will fly very smooth, similar to comparing a helicopter to a UFO report. So there's these things in place. The owl and the alien both have these great big black eyes, these oversized eyes. Both of them are unnerving. So the alien, the owl, and then I would also say the synchronicity. The power of a synchronicity is just as magical as any other paranormal event. And the fact that they all blur together. Owl's synchronicity and the UFO experience. As a thought experiment, I'm treating them all as the same thing. They all have the power to be transformative.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that, people talk about owls as harbingers of death, but when I look at the metaphor for owls in relationship to the UFO experiencer, going back to the very first thing we talked about, which was the great snowy over the car at the first, abductee support group meeting at John Mack's house, what happened to me was a death of my worldview. The worldview that I had before was absolutely, unequivocally, irreversibly, irretrievably gone, going away.
I understand that very clearly, yeah. But was that punctuated by the owl? Did the owl line up exactly to that?
I think, for that support group, yes, because there were things that we didn't talk to John about per se. A lot of things happen in the background just with people on the phone with each other, experiencers on the phone with each other, and it would be going very deeply into the experiencer, into some of the other dream or learning experiences that maybe we didn't have time to share with John at the same time we were having regressions. Because, he was doing the old format where our regressions were 4 hours long, and my God, that's enough. And, you do that 20-some times, and my God, that's enough. You're not going to be talking about, oh, yeah, you and I were in this learning experience dream together, and, oh, yeah, I remember you from such and such where this happened. And it's when you talk to other experiencers and you get into more of the learning, the teaching, they might not be real experiences, or they might be future experiences, or they might be parallel reality experiences. When you get into that, your worldview just gets completely blown, because there's information in there that goes far beyond what's happening in the cut-and-dried abduction. And that information, if you go out looking in the world for it, like you did with the owls, gets validated and confirmed.
Yep.
And so you go from being, well, I'd like to be a stockbroker, or I'd like to be a lawyer, or, and I'd like to live on the beach and have a boat. You go from that to, okay, why in global warming, if I'm running for a world that's post catastrophe United States, why is it both flooding and a desert at the same time? And then you look up what they expect to happen in global warming, and it's flooding and desert at the same time because this is what happens. Yeah. And then you kind of walk around for 3 weeks going, global warming is real and it's coming and it's going to look like everything's flooded and it's dry and there's nothing to drink and there's nothing to eat, and that sucks. And so there's this trauma on top of it that we didn't really always talk to John about, but, I'd have people, we were avoiding getting on the same bus, because we didn't want to get captured by the military in this alternative post-global warming United States. We were running from the same bus because we weren't going to get on it. Anyway, worldview dead, really dead, completely dead. Like, no, it's just not worth it to be a consumer. And going off on a tangent, but, I'm not a baby boomer. I'm an early Gen Xer, and I look at most of the baby boomers, and they're recovering at our age from consumerism. And this happened to me in my early 20s, and I was all in line to be a nice little non-controversial consumer worker bee. And that completely went away. Did not exist anymore in anything that I wanted. So I would say, big death. Big death of my worldview. Big death of my path. Projected path now, obliterated, gone, not happening.
My sense is that and then the owl as a there's a myth. I mean, this is interesting. There's a lot of stories. There's I'll read it and they'll say, the Native Americans of the desert Southwest saw the owl as a harbinger of death. If you heard an owl hooting, it meant that a family member was about to die. That shows up in Indian folklore as well as Ireland, as well as ancient Greece, as well as so these that exact phrase, like if the hooting of an owl at night means a close family member will soon die. I haven't had any examples of that in the research. I've been, what I have a lot of examples of is people who will have a loved one die, and then they'll see an owl, and then they'll actually talk to the owl. They will talk right to the owl. Like someone's dad will have died or their mom will have died. An owl will land in their garage, and they'll talk to the owl as if it's their mom. This is very common so I'm finding, and often, in a lot of traditions, like if you see an owl, it's usually a sign that this has been a safe passage to the other side of the loved one. So, so an owl is symbolic of death. It has a totem energy of death, but more after the death than before. It's not a harbinger of a death that's about to happen. It's a positive sign after the death has occurred.
So it could be saying, it's already happened, it's already here. I will get that with clients. Sometimes animals and spirit will show up as particular birds. Not always owls, but I'll get, some showing up as canaries. That certain canary who sits in that tree at this time of day is an overlay. Like spirits can overlay on birds pretty easily. They can overlay on cats, sometimes dogs. And what that is kind of a very, like the animal acts as the spirit medium, and it is in some control by the person or the being in spirit, the animal or the person in spirit. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen, and so it could very well be, I mean, directly in mediumship terms, that owl was, presencing Dad, who had just passed, or presencing Mom. But it does happen with other birds and other animals as well. Just for anybody's information, I don't know if you looked that up, but that's a kind of common thing in mediumship, is that you'll find animals are being the trance medium for Mom or Dad, or
And I have some examples of owls' experience. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, and wild birds. Often it won't be like another wild animal other than a bird. Most of the wild animals that where the spirit has said, well, I will come to see you. Look for this bird in this tree, outside that window, and at this time of day, and that will be me. And you'll know because I won't fly away. I will look at you, but I won't fly away. And then the person will, call back and say, hey, that bird's been here every day at this time. And they get comforted. People are comforted by that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, that's the role. Yeah, I mean, that's the positive aspect of it. There's a blessing. There's proof of life after death.
That we go from. It's what's beyond the barrier. Well, there is at least something there. There is at least something there that can communicate with you and make an appointment. It may not look like Dad, but it communicated. You communicated.
But then people will talk to it as if it's Dad.
Yeah, because in some way it is.
Exactly.
And you'll see, anybody who's listening to this, like if you have an animal that you've wondered if, your animal is looking at you a weird way and your best friend is passed, or your mom or dad. I had a cat who channeled the big scary guy. He would come through my cat, and he would look at me in a certain way, and then we would have a conversation. It would be my cat would start acting like him, and I'd be like, okay, this is a little fluffy female cat who is not 6'5" and terrifying, and she is now acting, like him. So, anyway, it's interesting how that happens. Do you think you're going to do any more with owls, or do you think you're going to go on to new and different things?
Well, I'm going to do more with owls because what happened was I got so many stories, and it was difficult to put the book is nearly 400 pages. It's 380 pages or something like that. 307. Let me just look. I'm going to open it up and look at the back page. I should know how many pages it is. It is, with the index, 383 pages. So I collected a lot of long, complicated, intricate stories that just had this kind of chaotic aspect to them. And to tell those stories correctly, and you have to dedicate some time to that. You have to really tell these stories in a thoughtful way. And these are real people sharing these stories. This isn't some fictional thing. These are people I'm talking to and feel in connection with. So I can't just, pick a pithy, clever little moment out of their long, entwined story. So there's a follow-up book that the working title is Stories from the Messengers, and it will be the longer format stories that I couldn't fit into the book.
And on that note, we shall leave Mike Clelland and Elizabeth Anglin hanging. And we'll add a little bit more in the end of Elizabeth's interview with Mike Clelland. And we'll add that to next Saturday while we steam up, throw some coals under the fire, and get ready to bring our psychic Skeeter and numerologist and my card teacher, Paisley Town Inn, on 2 mediums and a large. So hang tight. We'll be right back after this 6-minute break.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on 2 mediums and a large. Questions about love, life, career changes. We would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. 2 mediums and a large, heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, news director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Attention Spaced Out Radio listeners. For only $5 a month, you can join Spaced Out Radio Space Travelers. Your membership at spacedoutradio.com will give you access to private fan area on the website, get you a monthly newsletter, draws for monthly swag, and a whole lot more. Sign up today to become a part of the Spaced Out Radio experience.
For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
It's time to go live on Spaced Out Weekend.
13, please. Oh, hi, Kevin. Oh, is that the time? Kevin, my friend, don't you find that watch just a little bit loud? Well, I certainly hope our buddy Bumblefoot is playing when we get there. Oh, you stinky big bundle of hair. I said Bumblefoot, not Bigfoot. Oh, it's going to be a long night.
It's time to head to the 13th floor of the old log cabin for Spaced Out Weekend with James Tyson. You can tweet James at James Tyson SOR. You can find him on Instagram, Spaced Out Weekend, as well as on Facebook. On YouTube, our channel is Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can check out our website, spacedoutradio.com.
Little brother has taken control, shoveling dirt in every hole. Predators to condemn your soul, watching you and watching me. We're all connected but separated, misunderstood and so frustrated. A million armies of one have invaded, watching you and watching me. We live behind glass curtains and act like nothing's wrong. Soon you will belong. I know you're out there somewhere. We've watched you for so long. Wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere. Watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, perched high in his captain's chair, way above the clouds, here's James Tyson.
Welcome, everybody. Hold on a second. I've got people talking in my head here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spaced Out Weekend. As I, James Tyson, broadcasting to you from my little log cabin on the 13th floor of the Spaced Out Radio Network here in the paranormal portals of the lower left Canadian coast. And tonight, we have two mediums and a large. And I may just have to turn off the sound of my mediums because it's confusing to hear them breathing while I'm breathing, because I don't know which one of us are breathing, and therefore who is alive and who is not. Anyway, you are tuned into Spaced Out Weekend, part of the Spaced Out Radio Network. We broadcast every night of the week as we want to be your one-stop shop when it comes to the supernatural, paranormal, conspiracy, UFO, spiritual, and more, including Paisleytown Skeeter, Joanna Banka on Two Mediums and a Large every second Sunday. And don't ask me when every second Sunday is, because it would be today and not next Sunday, but the one after that, and continuing on. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we use and abuse Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses. He is the man behind our music and the official sound of Spaced Out Radio. You can check us out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for Dave Scott, at Spaced Out Weekend for me, and you can find me on Instagram, also on Spaced Out Weekend. At this time, I'd like to say hello to everyone taking part in the chat rooms here on Spaced Out Radio, including my dog. That would be Kirby barking in the background. Those on Spreaker, those on Chronicles of the Unknown, Forest Moon Paranormal in our flagship chat room, and the SOR Space Travelers. Have you signed up for the SOR Space Travelers Club yet? It's $5 a month, and with that, your name gets entered into a monthly prize draws, access to private group interviews, access to special section, a website, much more. Those draws include a lot of books from our authors we interview, t-shirts, hats, small cars, cups of tea, and trust me, we're giving you a heck of a lot more than just access to our anchovies. Archives. While at spaceoutradio.com, you can read our latest blogs and check out Eric Markham's SOR Spacewire for your latest in weird news. And it may not be space related because, Eric, works with bodies and sucks blood out of people. So he's just filled with weirdness. We also have a new feature on the website. The SOR Sightlines is there for you. If you've had an experience and want it investigated by our researcher, Mike Smith, just fill out the Sightlines report and we'll get back to you. All information is 100% confidential unless Dave gets a hold of it, and you know what happens. It just goes all over the place. And we'd also like to thank our new affiliate, the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and their listeners from over 160 countries around this little green planet spinning around our lovely sun. And to the millions and millions of people out there who have homes and internet access, You just don't know it yet, but you could be listening to me ramble on and on. And now, with more further ado, I'm going to open the line up here so we can finally listen to those chatty Cathys. It's Paisley Town, and it's Skeeter, but somebody's typing up a storm. I'm not going to be looking at any of my texts or messages just in case you're sending me nasty things. Hello, Paisley.
Hello, Mr. James Tyson. How are you this evening?
I are fine. How are you? And Skeeter Wellhouse, how are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I went to a Christmas party, and I'm feeling pretty good. No, it's very, very interesting out in the great scheme of things out there. It's snowing. It's one of those 10-year snows we get here on the Pacific Coast. It's interesting. It's getting wet. It's probably going to rain and get it all slushed out before Santa gets here. But it's been white, you could say, beige, mostly green and white, but very, very pretty, very quiet when there's that much snow. How about where you live down in Washington?
It's actually pretty dry where I'm at right now. I'm lucky. We had just a bit of snow and it went away.
Oh, well, then we're all coming down. What was that?
Good. I've got extra rooms.
You've got extra rooms? Because we're all coming down.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Good. I'm going to keep more than just a couple rooms.
Yes. Everybody's coming down. Oh, sorry. So I've got, believe it or not, I have a list of people to call tonight. And I'm wondering if anybody has called in. And that number, again, that I've memorized. Hold on. I'm just checking my memory here. And it's not on that part of my memory. I'll have to find it on another part of my memory. Sorry. You guys can call in at 1-575-694-6634. Again, that's 575-69... Oh, look at that. Answering this call will put the others on hold. Damn diddly do. Why does it continue to do that? We thought we had that fixed. So how about we don't call in? I have no idea, kids, how I added you to a group call so I could add other people to it, but no, this isn't working. If anybody wants to give me a shout via Skype, it's James_Tyson32. Again, James_Tyson32. And we'll see how that works. And if Bam, if you can hear me, here, I'm going to try this, see how this works. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you? I'm just trying to get in contact tonight.
You are, and you would have been in contact. And Drat, it's are you phoning in via Skype or regular phone?
Yes, it is Skype.
Okay, so adding you to our call, as soon as I answered you, put the other people on hold, the psychics on hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to friend you on. I'm going to add you to the contact and then add you to the call.
Okay, great.
Okay,
awesome.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right, awesome.
And we've got a caller from 402, which is the same thing. I'm not going to be able to answer that. I'm going to be calling Bam back here real quick. Add to group call Skype.
How long have you been doing numerology, if I may ask?
Oh, numerology just short of 10 years.
Holy cow.
Oh, wow.
Did you like it?
There he is.
Yeah, he's here. Bam, hang tough. I'm going to talk to Paisley and Skeeter just for a couple of minutes. What exactly have you been doing in numerology, Paisley? And that weird thing you do by touching things. What is that called?
Psychometry.
Are either of you typing right now?
Not me.
Not now. There was a lot of this going on, and I know Vam's not, so it's got to be one of you two. No gurgling.
I never type with my mic on anymore because you tell me to put my mittens on.
Yes, Skeeter. Don't make me pull this car over.
I was shuffling cards.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like Joanna. I'm not typing, I'm shuffling cards. It's much louder. What? Psychometry, Paisley.
Yes. It's fabulous.
It's fabulous, but you can touch a human being and feel the same thing, right?
Absolutely, but I don't choose to do that. I don't go around touching people.
Even if someone came to you for a reading and held out their hand, would that be almost like a palm? You can say, I'm reading your palm, but not looking at it.
I could pretend to read their palm, but I haven't studied palm reading. But hand analysis is fascinating to me. I only know a few palm readers in the lower mainland of British Columbia, maybe 3 or 4. That's about it, out of about 70 psychics. So most people do mediumship and tarot and fun stuff like psychometry and Ouija boards. Yeah.
Okay.
And pendulums and all different things, really.
What do you do in the 2 weeks between, or the week? Yeah, 2 weeks between shows here. Do you have your own, little group that does stuff?
I have 2 little groups. I have a monthly group, which is people that are from beginner level to people who are, professional psychic readers. And we do metaphysics studies, everything like tea leaf reading, crystal ball reading, telepathy, intuition practices, meditation, you name it. Like there's about 30 topics we cover throughout the year. And that group, I get anywhere between 5 and 20 people at a group. Okay. And then twice a month, I started a new group that is something that is really fascinating to me. I was doing readings for people, and I realized that a lot of them were psychic readers, but they were kind of at-home psychic readers reading for their sister and their cousin and their aunt, but they weren't sort of out of the broom closet.
Yep.
So I started a brand new group called the Broom Closet Psychic Readers Club.
Oh, those guys are
And
nuts.
we meet twice a month. Yeah. Well, you're in the group, so you should know.
Oh, shoot. That's my group? How come we don't get T-shirts?
You said it was a card readers group, but we have some really interesting people. Some people do Ouija boards, pendulum,
they're crazy.
Mediumship, psychometry, cards, tarot cards, angel cards, all different things.
And people can get a hold of you at your website, paisleytown.com, if they want to do some readings and stuff.
That's the one.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I can do numerology readings over Skype. I can do live readings. I can do events. I do I can do psychometry. If people wanted to email me a photograph or something like that, I don't read cell phones, but I read paper. So photograph, T-shirt, jewelry, belt buckle.
So we send you jewelry, gems,
you can even send me a $100 bill, and I'll do psychometry on it.
Yeah, I bet you will. Skeeter Wellhouse, I ran into you down in the northern central part of Washington State in a small community called Concrete. Obviously, they made, wool or something there. Amazing psychic kind of person and reader of cards and seer of things. How are you? And what is it you do psychically, spiritually, and paranormally?
Well, I talk to the dead. I've been talking to them for a long time. I saw my first apparition shortly after a major surgery, about the age of 2. Sorry for all the to think of it as yoga. Okay. And ever since then, I've just been seeing apparitions. I hear them, I can see them, I can smell them, I can even feel them, touch them. It's just a matter of how they want to communicate with me. I've been doing card readings since probably 5th or 6th grade, so quite a long time. And just recently, I should actually talk to Paisley more often. I've just recently discovered that when I do Jinshin Jitsu teachings or energy work, it's kind of like a cross between Reiki and acupuncture. But I've been noticing that when I touch people, I can read them really much more deeply. In fact, you saw me do that to Dave up there in Concrete, where I had him on the couch and I was doing the hands-on, and I was getting tons of information on him. So that's what I do.
Unreal.
I hope that made sense.
It does. And I saw her with Dave on the couch. Oh, hold on. Yeah. You're pulling alien stuff out of that. That's a whole other episode we're going to talk about. Yeah, and very, very cool. Well, we've got
ET's new.
Callers backing up to and fro here. First one on the block is, I'm going to call you Bam because that's how it comes up, sir.
Yeah, that's me, Bradley, or Bam.
Okay. I will let you go for Skeeter and Paisley.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me. I just would like to see if I maybe have a message from my higher self, or if someone's perhaps trying to contact me.
Do you want to do this, Paisley, or shall I?
I'll let you do it because I'm going to probably focus a little bit more on the numerology this evening.
Okay. Well, in that case, I can already tell you someone jumped up and said you're looking for answers, but you're not paying attention to the ones we're giving you. I didn't even have to shuffle the cards. He just jumped right in. It's a smaller dude. He's not really showing me who he is or what he is, but he says you've been asking for probably the past 3 years, 3 months or 3 years. I'm going to say 3 years to be contacted, and you've seen things that you think are possibly contact, and it is. It's not imagination. It's not dream. It's actual contact that you've been receiving. He says you need to stop being so worried about being taken.
Okay.
That he says we're not going to take you, but we are going to talk to you.
Okay.
That way you can start hearing us. And he's asking if there's a way he can give you a signal, because that's something that you've been asking them to give you. But the signals they're giving you, they're not ones that you're connecting with. I know Dave has a really...
Open up? Sorry.
He says you're already kind of opening, but you're so nervous about it, and you're always double questioning yourself. It kind of hinders it. This is something that you kind of need to become more and more comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A really good way to start kind of practicing is make some rules for yourself. If you see the phones ringing, make yourself guess who it is before you look at the caller ID. Make yourself guess who's at the door before they show up, or before you open the door. Simple little tricks like that will help you open up your intuition, but also just a lot of self-confidence will help you. You've already got the gifts. You just need to trust yourself with them. Does that make sense to you?
That makes a ton of sense, yeah. That's exactly what's going on.
So he says, he says he's going to start, I don't know if it's going to be lights. He says you respond well to flashing lights. You tend to look up when they flicker a light on you. So he says that's how they're going to... Yeah, so he says he's going to do that a little bit slower so that you pay more attention, okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Great.
Skeeter,
was there anything else?
He just says relax and don't push yourself so hard. That'll help a lot as well.
Skeeter, who is the he you're talking to?
I'm going to bet it's an EP.
That's what I'm thinking too. Bam, does that resonate with you? An extraterrestrial?
It does. It does. I work with a group, and that's we meditate towards making contact and looking for exactly that. So.
Oh, very
It's
cool.
a gray.
It's a gray?
Is there any more information about him? I'm very curious about him.
It's a gray. That's
Okay.
what he told me.
A tall or short?
Short.
Oh.
Is there connotations to that? I mean,
He's
to me,
about
it's
my
all
height. I'm 5'2.5".
to me, it's all second-hand, third-hand information. But I was always under the impression that the short ones were a little less friendly.
Naughty.
Naughty? Yeah. So, is he one of those?
He says no, but he does understand that they have a reputation.
Okay.
He says not all of us are here to collect samples.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
That is very cool. Thanks very much.
Do you mind if I stay on and listen?
No, go ahead. You just hang tough.
All right, great. Thank you.
I'm going to go over to a caller here. It's no, it's buried under my funny little thing. Stand by. 858 area code. Who's this? 858 area code. I just phoned you back. Who's this?
Sorry, it's me again. I tried to contact you on different things. Just go ahead and switch
no
it.
problem.
Drop it.
I'll hang up on your phone one. Okay.
Okay.
Roger that. Okay, Derek, you're up.
Oh, hey. How are you going?
Excellent, young man. Now, speaking of aliens, and that's all I'm going to say, because I don't think you've met Skeeter, so she's also the one who saw an alien in me, so that's kind of spooky.
Oh, really? Hi, Skeeter.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm excellent. Thank you for taking these calls. I appreciate it. Well, I had kind of maybe a quick little yes or no question and then lead into something else. But anyway, I was wondering if you could tell me, back in August of this year, I was up in a wooded area and I saw something in the woods that I'm not sure exactly what it was. So I wondering if anything jumps out at you of what I saw.
The little dude answered your yes or no question that you were thinking of first, and he said no. And as far as what you saw, he says you didn't see what you thought you saw, but you saw what you saw.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's
sorry.
It's shifting out. It's going from one to the other. I apologize. I'm slowly getting used to these newer guys coming through.
Oh, okay. No worries. Oh, okay. No worries.
But the one who's coming through, it's a light phenomenon. It's a light being, and he says what you saw was almost a play on lights with beings. And what you saw were shells or shadows of beings. But the patterns that you saw were accurate.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
It does, and that's funny you say light. That's funny you say light beings, because I've had a group of them make contact with me in what I believe was or is my star family. I'm curious if you can tell me if there's any messages from them.
He says yes. You're still new in the game, so relax. Yes, things are going to be really rough this life, and nothing's going to make sense because you're still kind of fresh. So please stop thinking that I'm an old spirit and I should know this by now. He He's saying that you're really rambunctious, that you keep going up, tell me now, tell me now, tell me now. Why can't I have the answers now? You're not ready. You've got a couple more lessons to go, and you need to learn more patience.
Okay.
And he says humility wouldn't hurt you at all either. Your desire to make contact with them, they appreciate because things have been rough, and someone has already been introduced into your life, either recently within the past couple of weeks or within the last month, that you're kind of connecting with, but you're unsure about them. But that's someone in your star family sent to kind of bop you back in the right direction.
Nailed it. That was perfect. Yeah, someone came in the last couple days, and actually it was someone who had abilities, was a contactee, but he heard my interview with James on the 11th, and he said that activated something in him, and he started to get messages from my star family for me, and he contacted me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you a Pleiadian?
That's where I feel that I'm from, but I haven't really, and I just got goosebumps.
That's the name I was just given as Pleiadian.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I felt that I resonated from, and where these things have been from.
Yeah, start looking into Pleiadians, because that's the name he gave me. They don't normally give me names, so the fact that I got a name and it's right, run with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these things are pretty powerful, and usually whenever I ask a psychic or someone special to, about this, and they tap into it, like, they usually tell me, like, things come through really strong. So
yeah, with them it's normally very direct. So as you get more relaxed in yourself and just rely on a bit more patience and humility, you'll start tapping into them more yourself.
Okay.
Wow.
She says stop demanding. Start asking politely.
I'm impatient, but I get it.
Oh,
well, when
that sounds like Derek for sure.
Hey, I was wondering, if I might be able to ask a numerology question. There have been some numbers pop up that I have not figured out why they've changed. Like, all of a sudden, I'm seeing within the past couple months sequential numbers. Like, I'll look at a time and it'll be 12:34, or it'll be 12:43, or 2:13. But any kind of variation of like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, just those sequential numbers pop up in tons of things.
So interestingly enough, that's not exactly a numerology question. It's more of a intuitive, I'm going to call it intuitive confirmation or intuitive hit number. So Doreen Virtue has some books available. One of our listeners from North Carolina recently purchased it because he was sending me messages on Facebook and had the same kind of similar question to what you're asking. There's certain series and patterns of numbers. So, for example, if people come to me and say, oh, I keep seeing 1:11 a.m. and 1:11 p.m. and I went to this store and the address was 1111, it's kind of like that common theme of repetition of numbers. This is the universe trying to knock on your door to get you to pay attention, to maybe go into that address that's 1111. Or if you're looking at the clock at 1:11 and you're driving, it's saying pay attention to what's going on around you, not as a warning, but just to wake you up and have you be more present to what you're thinking about, how you're feeling, what's going on in traffic. What are you doing right at this moment at work when you look at the clock and it says that number? It just means to kind of pay attention to your intuition and see what's going on around you, just to be more present. But like I said, Doreen Virtue has a book called Angel Numbers, and she talks about numbers and series of numbers to do with certain angels and certain messages from angelic energy. And it's a pretty interesting book. It's available online, or you could get it at any kind of metaphysical, spiritual bookstore. Probably Chapters has it too,
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, perfect. It just
Thank you for calling Anna K. Davis. I'm unable to take your call.
Stand by.
But leave a brief message and I'll call you back. Thanks.
You're welcome, Anna K.
Please record your message.
Don't record
when you're
any.
finished recording,
let's
you
all
may
record
hang up
messages.
or press 1 for more options.
Okay, I hung up. Got it on. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Did that answer your question, Derek?
Yeah, definitely. I just go through these different number patterns that pop up, and all of a sudden these sequential numbers showed up. So I was just curious, but I try to pay attention when those things pop up. So
yeah, for sure. Good. And it's not a warning. It doesn't mean something bad's going to happen or anything like that. It's good news. Did you have anything to add to that, Skeeter?
Not really. I just know that book that you recommended is way awesome. I use it myself. I've had a lot of synchronicities lately, and I've been using that book myself. I know the 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. It's letting you know it's a beginning, it's a start, and to be aware of what's coming.
Okay, that makes sense, because I felt like it was telling me like it's like a countdown, something's aligning, something is happening. So
No, definitely.
okay.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
So-
thank you. Yeah, thank you both so much. I love calling in to these shows. It's great.
We
Thanks.
love having you call in. It's great to have. You always have good questions, too.
Awesome, and I hope someone else can, piggyback off of my questions too. So thank you.
Absolutely. We've got lots of new callers on the line tonight, I guess. Right, James?
We do. Yes, we do. Yes, dear. I should say.
Okay, thanks, James.
Okay, Derek. Thanks very much. And we're going to bounce over. Oh, was that you, Skeeter, saying thank you?
Yes.
Okay, because you're fading off in the distance again. So far, far away.
Is that better?
Yes, you've moved your microphone back up onto the Kleenex box?
No, I actually have a real mic now.
Okay, stand a little closer to it. Or get a ladder. And I'm kidding.
That's my lips right now. I'm sending everyone kisses when I talk.
Oh, what kind of mic do you have? Because it sounds guttural. It's like it's far away.
It's supposed to be one of the top of the line phone people ones that they use in the little offices where they cage people and make them call people.
Oh, yeah. Those should
You know
be
what I'm
illegal.
talking about. I
yeah.
can't think of the word.
Yeah, those silly call centers. But I thought it made you talk with an accent. No, better not go there. Hey, we're going to go to a 604 number. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello? Is this
Hi, how's
Ashley?
everyone? It is.
It
How are
is.
you?
I are fine, Asher. How are you? Welcome to
I'm
see
good, thank you.
Paisley and Skeeter.
Hi, Skeeter. Hi, Paisley.
Hi there.
Hello. How are you? Hi.
Excellent.
Awesome. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll just get into it right away. I just wanted to know if there's anyone stepping forward and if they have any advice for my near future with work or relationships.
There's a male energy who already stepped forward, and he said, "Stop being so nervous." he says she's a worrier. He's telling me she's a worrier, and she's probably playing with her hands right now because that's what she does. She plays with her hands.
I am
and
not
you
playing
play
with
with
my
your hair
hands.
too. Well, it's good to know you're not doing those.
But because my hands are occupied right now.
Awesome. He says for you, it's I know you said relationships, but he says it's not just romantic relationships, it's all your relationships. He says you're constantly gauging and trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing? Am I interacting with this person right? Am I making everything work the way I'm supposed to. He says you're always questioning yourself, always double questioning yourself. And he says it's really hard to be romantic with someone who's constantly questioning and overthinking things. Mm-hmm. And he says you've done that since you were itty-bitty. He says it's just part of who you are, and to get you to stop doing that would be kind of like getting you to stop breathing. It's just not something that you do naturally. He says for you, attachment issues are something that you really kind of need to look into before you really start kind of going for the romantic. Because he says
Sorry, go
he
ahead.
says it's been one of those things where you've had a couple of really good people in your life, but you've kind of suffocated them. And they get kind of withdrawn, and then you wonder what you did wrong, but truth is you didn't do anything wrong, you just did too much of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So he says one thing you need to do is look in the mirror every morning. He says, please don't laugh at this. Look in the mirror and say, I love me. And mean it. He says the first time you do it, you're probably going to cry, because that's going to be a really hard statement for you to say. But look in the mirror and say, I love me. He says he used to tell you he loves you all the time when you were itty-bitty.
I don't remember who that person would be.
He says you were very small before he died. When he died, you were very small.
Okay.
Okay. He says another thing you need to do is believe it when someone tells you that they like you as a friend, as a partner. He says you always question it. You always wonder if they're just telling you that to appease you. But the truth is they actually do like you. So please take that in. When someone says, I like you, or I love you, or I care about you, or I want to help you, or I want to be with you, please know that they're actually being genuine. And you do deserve people like that in your life.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. That helps a little bit.
Skeeter,
Good.
Can you pick up on this young lady if she's has a high vibration, like an empath high vibration?
She is empathic, but it's working against her right now because she's, instead of reading everybody as they are, she's reading everybody as she thinks they are. So if somebody's got a high intense energy about them, she thinks it's because of them. So if I'm giving off an angry vibe, she thinks it's because she did something wrong, so I'm angry at her.
Oh my God.
So you kind of need to start recognizing that when you feel people being sad, thank you, James, for bringing that up. If you feel someone being sad, it's not because you did something wrong. If you feel someone mad, it's not because you did something.
Okay.
Ego is kind of a trippy thing for you because you don't think you really have an ego because of low self-esteem. But the funny thing about low self-esteem is that you tend to accidentally make everything about you. It's a really weird loop. And being an empath, you pick up on all these energies. Mm-hmm. So you need to recognize that when you feel someone who may be nervous or awkward when they're talking to you, it's not because they're being made awkward or nervous by you. It's because there's something going on in their lives, and you can actually use that feeling to connect with them more.
Okay.
And don't be too blunt with them when you bring it up, but just be gentle. Like, hey, is everything okay? I kind of got a feeling you're a little off today. What's up?
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Like when I go into work or I'm around people, I can get something that, there's something not right. Or, yeah, it makes sense. And everything that you said so far has kind of hit on the head. And I'm wondering that male presence that sets up, I'm wondering if that's my my grandfather on my dad's side. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So thank you for answering all my questions.
He nodded. You're welcome. And he did nod. Yeah, he nodded. You guessed who it is.
How is Ashley's work going to go in the next few months? Just pretend I know her.
We know each other. He's asking all the questions that I'm thinking right now, but I'm too scared to ask.
The truth is, it's going to get rougher.
Oh.
In fact, you've already been thinking about quitting.
Yeah.
Please don't quit. It's going to get really ugly because someone's about to get flushed out.
Oh,
and
okay.
I guess something's been happening at your work where everyone's kind of been. There's a lot of players involved in the drama going on at your work right now. And the truth is, somebody is actually setting someone else up to be flushed out.
No. Oh.
And
okay.
you're kind of in the war zone as this game of chess is being played out.
And why do you think that is? I think
to be real true, there's someone rubs someone the wrong way. It's a personality issue.
Okay.
And what he's telling me is someone, I guess, made someone else look bad that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And now it's being played out.
Okay. And will I have this person that I think it might be? Do I need to be careful of this person and maybe start backing away?
I heard a resounding yes. Be kind, but keep them at arm's length. So basically, don't burn the bridge, but put border patrol.
Okay. Yes. Guard.
Don't confide any secrets to them. Just professional conversation. No. Don't give them any ammunition.
No, okay. And if I think it's the person that I'm thinking of, yeah, then... Now, would that be my gut instinct telling me or my empath telling me about this? This person that rubs me the wrong way are the ones that's, I guess, sabotaging?
I heard a no.
Okay.
But they are involved.
Okay. All right. So what do I? So I should just stay put with my work right now. Will it get better, or?
It will get better, but these next 3 months, 2 to 3 months, are going to be entertaining beyond work. If anything, do you have any shielding or grounding behaviors or practices that you do for yourself? Any yoga or anything that you do to help center yourself?
I've been trying to get into meditation, but I've been procrastinating on that, and I have not been doing it, no.
Okay, let me give you a really quick one. It'll take all of 1 minute to teach you to do it, okay? Even less than that. Okay. Everyone can do this. This is a really great way to real quickly ground yourself. It takes a minute to do. You can make it go longer. You can make it go shorter. Just be sure to do it when you need it most and as often as you need it, okay?
Okay.
Just take your right hand. Put it on your left shoulder. Take your thumb on your left hand. Put it to your left hand pinky. Make sure you cover the pinky's fingernail with the thumb. Hold it there for at least 5 seconds, longer if you can. Move it over to the next finger, the ring finger. Hold it there for as long as you can. Move it to the middle finger. Then move it over to the index finger. And then using the index finger, give the thumbnail a hug. And then when you're done with the thumb, you switch over you switch hands, and you do it on the other hand and the other shoulder.
Okay.
And this will bring you down real quick and help you ground out and help block out all that emotional energy going on in your office. And that'll make it easier for you to work in that environment while they're doing their stuff.
Okay. Okay. James, you can explain it to me later.
What? I should have been taking notes?
Feel free to get a hold of me.
Okay,
cool. bluemoonweaver@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'll hook up with you, and I can even give you a one-on-one lesson on that, on how to do it a lot more deeply.
Okay, that'd be great. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Thank
my
you so
honor.
much. Oh,
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks, James, for letting me call in. I appreciate that.
No problem. Anytime. Well, not anytime.
All right, perfect.
Just every second Sunday.
Will do.
Okay, Ashley.
Thank you so much for all your insight. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. And
Bye.
the joys of working in an all-woman environment.
You're welcome. You're welcome, James.
Yeah.
We love you too.
Oh, no, I've worked in those
do.
offices, and it's like a... anyway, have you ever heard the bucket of crab analogy? Have you ever looked at a bucket, put a bunch of crabs in a bucket? One will start crawling, and it looks like it's about to get away, and it looks like the other ones reach up and grab it and pull it back down. That's what it looked like in the office I worked at, where one of the women looked like she was successfully going to do something, and then everybody crapped on her, and it was horrid. Anyway, yeah, it's because that's what all women do. I'm kidding, guys. Jeez. Okay, Andrew, you're next, and then I'm going to bounce over to a 520 area code. So 520, actually, Mrs. 520, or Mr. 520. What's your name?
Cindy.
Cindy. Hang tough, Cindy.
Yes. Okay.
Andrew, you're up.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Mike?
G'day, mate. You can hear? Hello, Skeeter.
Hi, Andrew. I got the name right?
Sorry?
It's Andrew, right?
Yes.
Right. We've got an echo somewhere. And now it's gone. Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, good. I just want to know, Skeeter, if you're a bit like, was it Darren before, or Derek before, like if any questions for either from my higher self or my dad who's passed, or angels, or anyone who wants to give me a message from beyond?
Well, the dad walked up already. He said he's going to be asking about me, so that was good. He says it's not what you think it is, and he says everything is good. Don't worry about it, and me and you are at peace. I hope that makes sense to you.
Well, yeah, we're very close anyway, so yeah. I looked after him just before he died, yeah.
Yeah, he says he wasn't much of a talker there at the end. He says you talked for him, though.
Yeah, that would be something my dad would say, because he had Alzheimer's, so yeah. And I was making all the conversation, yeah.
Kind of entertaining.
But he still had a sense of humor. Sorry, he still had a sense of humor even with Alzheimer's.
Yeah. He's got a really cute sense of humor. It's almost kind of like it's dry, but cheeky.
Very dry.
So.
It's a very like a Australian, Irish, English sort of sense of humor.
Dry humor. It's fantastic. Yeah. But he says it's over now, and he says he's hooking up with a lot of old people, catching up with old friends,
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people went before him, and he felt bad because they went before him, and now he's able to catch up.
Well, most of his friends, he lost a lot of friends, were killed. He was in the war, so a lot of his best friends that were killed during the war when he was with them. And, you know, he outlived all his... It was really weird. All his friends were like 20 years younger than him, and they all died before him anyway. Even when he was in his 90s, you know, like they got cancer or something, and they're like 20 years younger than him. So it was pretty tough for him.
Yeah, he said that was the hardest part, was seeing him go. He said he don't want to be the first. He says you don't want to be the last to go.
And he was, yeah.
But he says, I guess he's been leaving you coins to let you know he's around.
Leaving him what?
He's showing them, like, pennies or
pennies. Coins.
Whatever the currency is.
Yeah,
coins.
You were kind of fuzzy. It sounded like pines.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Could that be like in instead of coins? Could that be like in actual like money, like bigger than coins?
Yes.
Oh,
like I'm talking like serious money, because I went into the garage and moved an old can of paint, and it's like $300 worth of $50 notes there, that sort of thing.
Oh, that was mine.
Yeah, he's leaving you money.
Really?
So that was money he put there.
Skeeter, were you joking?
No, he's leaving him money. He's hiding money around.
Yes.
And where is he getting money?
And you're going to be finding money in the weirdest places.
Yep. I found money in a book, like $200, and I found money in the garage, $300 in $50 notes. Because Australia, we only go up to $100 notes. So $50 notes is pretty big.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Now.
So yeah, you're going to keep finding that, and that's his way of helping you out. Because he says while you were taking care of him, things got a little bit behind. So he's trying to help you out.
Yeah. I miss him very much, Skidder.
He wants you to know that he misses you, but don't miss him because he's always going to be around you.
Because he's my best friend. Also, not just my dad.
Yeah. Hey, Skeeter, and I know Andrew. Andrew's one of our listeners down in Australia, listening to us from the future. I was wondering if you could ask on, and I'm going to ask this on behalf of Andrew. He probably thinks it, but might be a little too proud to ask. If Andrew is going to find himself a healthy and vigorous and at a point soon, or not, hopefully not too soon, but to continue his own life, or is he, I shouldn't say or anything, is he going to be able to get out of the house and have some fun for himself?
Well, Dad just said you need to stop applying for just any job, that you need to start going back towards your passion. And he says, no, it's not big money at first, but it's going to be something that's more soul satisfying. So there is something coming up, and it's coming up quick.
Well, at the moment, I'm looking after my mum full time, so hopefully not too quick.
I'm trying to get him to give me some more details, because what he's showing me, you're actually one of those people who's a thinker. You like to think. You like to figure. It's mental games. It's mental puzzles. You're kind of like a Sherlock type individual who likes putting bits and pieces of information together to come up with a whole story. And that's actually a really amazing talent. And that's kind of where he wants you to go, is looking for a job that's going to use you that way. Does that make sense to you?
Not really, because I'm pretty dyslexic. So that's
it's not a reading thing; it's a thinking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it under your hat for a little while and see what comes about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that information that Skeeter's giving you, Andy, is for future. So it's you're right on target to say put it under your hat. I was just going to say that too.
Because I was just saying, everyone keeps, all my life, everyone goes and tells me, I didn't learn how to read till I was 11, and yet they say I've got a very high IQ, and everyone says how smart I am, and yet I have trouble, learning things, and things take a while, to get to me, and yet when you talk about quantum physics or whatever, I can get it straight away and think, oh, this is a part of the secret, of the universe. This is exciting, and I get that sort of stuff. But practical things, day-to-day life, even learning to use a computer, and I really struggle, guys. With very basic day-to-day stuff. It's I really struggle, And I'm scared of it because I hate looking like an idiot, But people tell me all the time, "Oh, you're really smart," and I'm thinking, really smart? Lucky I can. If you see me in the Skype chat, I can hardly spell.
Well, I hate to interrupt you, but I need to because your dad's yelling at me. He says you really need to stop basing your intelligence on the reading. He says dyslexia doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you had something that you had to learn to work around.
Yeah.
He says, if I were to talk to you about something, politics, a puzzle, a thought, a philosophical discussion, he says, you were amazing. He says, you've got a mind that puts things together. He says, you are brilliant. But you need to stop looking at the things that you can't do and focus on the things that you can do.
Yeah. Because I am a deep thinker.
You're very genius about thinking things, and that's what you need to focus on, is thinking things.
I'm always thinking about the meaning of life. I mean, even as a kid, I'm thinking, why are we here? Even as a kid, I was looking at the clouds.
See,
why are we here?
There's the question you could ask your dad. Oh, and by the way, Andrew, just so you know, your friends, in air quotes, in the chat room, Robert and even Paisley and Corey, oh, look at the clock. Oh, we should really go for a break now. Oh, they're saying everything but hang up on Andrew.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not in there at the moment, but I really love these
what
guys.
A bunch of real friends. James, time for a break. Time out, James. James, clock. Meanwhile, Andy's having a reading. But no, you don't care. You all have to go pee. Well, you're just going to have to wait. All right, Andrew, hang tough.
Yes.
I'm going to put everybody else on a break because that's the way I am.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on two mediums and a large. Questions about love, life, career changes. We would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. Two mediums and a large, heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, News Director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Attention Spaced Out Radio listeners, for only $5 a month you can join Spaced Out Radio Space Travelers. Your membership at spacedoutradio.com will give you access to private fan area on the website, get you a monthly newsletter, draws for monthly swag, and a whole lot more. Sign up today to become a part of the Spaced Out Radio experience.
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Greetings and salutations, space travelers, from the Chronicles of the Unknown team.
What is Chronicles of the Unknown? I keep hearing about this thing.
It's a new paranormal reality TV show based right here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Follow our team as we uncover claims of activity on the Caribou Gold Rush Trail. You can also follow us here every third Monday, where two members of our team will be available to answer your questions. We'll give you some equipment updates and some of our experiences on the road, right here on Spaced Out Radio.
For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Find yourself constantly looking up in the sky, looking for answers? Have you had extraterrestrial contact? Are you an abductee? Looking for answers to your experiences? Hi there, I'm R. Keith Andrews, Spaced Out Radio's resident ET expert. Join me live the first Friday of every month, where I take questions from the Spaced Out Radio chat room and help you understand those from the far-off world. It's 2 hours of knowledge every experiencer should listen to. Hope to see you there.
Hey everybody, this is Patrick Webster Small, and I'm here to bring you the Webster Phenomena every Saturday night, live at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for aliens and extraterrestrials, well, we've got them. Big and tall, short and small. You're bound to find what you're looking for. So join me on the Webster Phenomena right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Jolene with Reveal Reiki and Readings, and I want you to relax. Let me help you chill out and get in touch with your body, mind, and soul. In this busy world, sometimes we need to let go. and this is where I can help. Visit my website, rivuletrndr.wix.com/rivuletrndr, or my Facebook page, Rivulet R&R, to set up an appointment for relaxation, Reiki, or readings. No matter where you are, it's time for you to make time for you.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Every month on Spaced Out Radio, we look into the deep and dark reports of cryptids roaming around the world with me, Rob Morphy from Cryptopia.us. I would love it if you would join me and host Dave Scott as we delve into the most arcane stories and reports regarding creatures of the unknown. My job is to hunt down the details and bring the evidence forward to you. These aren't your regular Bigfoot stories I'm talking about either. You can find out more about crypto history at spacedoutradio.com.
Tonight's edition of Spaced Out Weekend is brought to you by spacedoutradio.com, where you can now sign up to become a Space Traveler member. Now, for the final time tonight, here's Spaced Out Weekend's James Tyson.
Welcome back, everybody. If you are trying to call in, please give us a shout at 575-694-6634. Again, that's 575-694-6634. And then I'll hang up on you and call you right back. Or you can Skype me at James_Tyson32. And I really mean it, that I will hang up on you and call you right back. And we're looking for people right now. We've got quite a list here. We've a full little backup. But we're looking for people who have never had readings before. Somebody who is possibly interested. This is that one time they think, give it a shot. Like, look what happened to Brad, and look what happened to Andrew. People are coming through with Derek and Ashley. They are getting what they're asking for. They're getting their money's worth, I tell you. Hold on, you're not paying anything. But if you want to pay something, you can always get a hold of Paisley Town at paisleytown.com, or you can get a hold of Skeeter at Skeeter. Where do we get a hold of you?
BlueMoonWeaver.com or BlueMoonWeaver@gmail.com.
BlueMoonWeaver.com or BlueMoonWeaver@gmail.com. Excellent. And you can get a hold of them there. And let's go to our many, many people in the line, which is, we'll start off with Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Where are you calling
for giving
from?
us your... I'm calling from Oregon.
Or I've been there. We probably saw each other by a tree or a beach or something. Yeah. Now, while we were off air, you gave some secret private information to young Paisley to do your numerology reading, and I'll let you two get at it.
Okay. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Cynthia. Hi. So I've got your birth numbers all written out, and so the birth name that you use is a number 1, and the name Cindy. When you go by Cindy, your nickname, do you go by Cindy? Yes. Okay, and so when you use the nickname, it's the value of 9, which I'm going to talk about a little bit about elements here. So the name Cindy is a 9, which is a really strong air number, which would indicate to me that you have a lot of compassion, a lot of generosity. You can be hurt easily by other people because you're so empathetic towards them. And the name Cynthia is a 1, which is, I'm going to talk about the element of water, which is one of the strongest water numbers to do with structuring, organizing, administrative work, clear communication, kind of focusing on a really clear game plan towards your future to gear towards success. And then when I look at the birthday numbers that you gave me on the break, I can say that you're always of service to other people. You have a lot of creative ability. You dislike conflict immensely, so sometimes you may not stand up for yourself in situations. You will probably advocate for other people before you'll advocate for yourself. Does any of this make sense so far? Yeah?
Always. Yes.
Okay.
Every bit of it, yes.
And so the life lessons with the birth name of Cynthia with the spelling would be that eventually after you advocate for other people, you'll come to a point where you'll start to slowly speak up for yourself and use your quiet, gentle voice to let people around you know what your needs are so that they can be met by other people. Mm-hmm. So the life lesson would be speak your truth softly. Because what happens for you is things might come up for you, Cynthia, where you might think to yourself, "Oh my gosh, I should say something to this person," and you'll go pace back and forth saying, "Yeah, I should really tell them. I'm going to tell them off, and I'm going to say." And then when the time comes to say something, you don't speak.
Yeah, I don't do it.
you let it go, or you bite your tongue, and this is because you're very sensitive to be hurt by other people, and you really want to create harmony with others in connection with them. You don't want to create any conflict, but by actually not saying what your needs are, you're creating a little bit of conflict with people around you. And so like a solution to this would be to practice speaking up. Like maybe, if a situation comes up that you're finding yourself frustrated with and not speaking about, maybe take some time to yourself, write down what you would have liked to have said. And it's never too late to go back and say, "Hey, remember last week when we went for coffee and you said this? I needed some time to think about it, but what came up for me was..."
Hang up on the one I was...
You might think to yourself, "Oh my gosh, I should say something to this person."
Is everybody...
So you'll get to the point where eventually the timeline between when it's happening in real time and the timeline between when you go back and say... And this is because you're very sensitive to be hurt by other people, and you really want to create harmony with others in connection with them. You don't want to create any conflict. But by actually not saying what your needs are, you're creating a little bit of conflict with people around you. James, are you there? A solution to this would... Somebody's got their radio on really loud in the background. And
whoever's got are listening in the background, I'm going to hang up on you in 3 seconds. 2, 1.
Down what you would like to have said. And it's never too late to go back.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Okay. Sorry about that, ladies.
So, Cindy, did you get the point of what I was speaking about just now?
Absolutely, I did, yes. And this is something that I am very aware of. And I am constantly working on this particular issue, is knowing when and how to speak to somebody when there's a possible issue, yes.
Yeah, I think you don't need to worry or think about too much how you're going to do it. I think you need to just do it. Or even to say, "You know what, I really have something to say, but I think I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to think about our conversation. I'm just going to go wash my hands. I'll be back in 5 minutes so we can, continue this conversation." And that gives you a moment to pull yourself together and think about how you want to phrase what you're going to say so that it's not harmful or hurting other people. But also another solution for you would be to spend time in nature, particularly around water. Lakes or oceans, or walking in the rain, or if you just have just or forest in your area, you could easily listen to an iPod with water music. Yeah, you could listen to water sounds or water music with piano or something like that, because you like structure and nature. And when you blend those together, that would be like a CD with piano music and water.
Does that kind of what I have on my playlist. That's on my playlist, yes.
Yeah. Your birthday's air and water, so that's nature and an actual physical water. So showers and baths and saunas and whirlpools and pools, swimming pools, those things will calm you down.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that's helpful. Skeeter, did you have anything you wanted to add as far as any message or anything for Cindy?
No, you covered it, to be real honest.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for calling, Cynthia. And
Yeah,
I really
thank you,
appreciate
ladies.
that you're able to give us your birthday. That's awesome.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Take
Very
care.
cool.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, that was kind of good. That was a interesting. I know we had a very interesting call right in the middle of it all, but apologies. For the listener out there, if you do call in and you don't get me, I will hang up on you and call you back. If you say hello and you've got our show cranked up in the background, I got to hang up on you again, and we're not going to call you back. You should be prepared. This is me being angry. Oh, I can't do that. Sorry, I don't get angry well. Paisley does. You should see the text she sends me. Holy cow. Tonight,
Speaking up for myself.
Yeah, right. So if anybody wants to call in again, it's try Skype. It's a lovely platform, and it's comfortable for me to answer. James_Tyson32. Again, that's James_Tyson32. Our phone number is 575-694-6634. Again, 575-694 excuse me, slowing down. 6634 575-694-6634. Again, if you can't get through and for some reason I hang up on you, just hang up and wait for me to call back. Don't say hello, because when you answer the phone, you'll just hear somebody else getting a reading, and it interferes with their reading, especially if you have your radio cranked up in the background or you're drinking wine with your buddies, because it's kind of embarrassing on our end. Skeeter, are you enjoying yourself?
Of course I am. Are you?
I are. This is a good night. It's quiet outside. There's 55 feet of snow. Okay, there's about 10 inches of snow. My dog is doing cartwheels and making puppy dog angels, and I should post that video. That's kind of fun. And he's having a great time. And kids are off of school for the Christmas break, so I can sleep in. Oh, I can't, because the dog's going to wake me up. Damn it. And just kind of hoping that Andrew would invite me down to Australia and pay for the trip with all the money he finds in the garage. Actually, Paisley, what we should have done was got Andrew's address, and we could all go down and just like search the heck out of his house.
Well, Andy's been inviting me to come visit him because I've been posting all the snowstorm pictures. So he's been teasing us a little bit up here.
Well, yeah, he's independently wealthy now. All you have to do is look in the dryer. It's like, what was that TV show when you were kids, Romper Room? Oh, it's your birthday, Andy.
Oh, yes.
Look in the dryer. Look under the mattress, Andrew. Look behind the pictures on the walls. Look under the flower pots. Don't give your address out to any of the neighbors. They're all going to come over and start digging holes in your backyard.
Couch cushions, too.
You know, I'd be interested in it. The issue date on the $50 notes that he found, if the issue date on those notes was post his father's death.
Oh, that would be cool to know.
Yeah. Andrew, if you're still out there, check those out next time you find some money. Were those notes printed and circulated after your father passed? Or,
That would be really
I would check.
cringy.
I don't know if you trust your dad or not. I'd be checking the serial numbers on those things, too. If they're all matching, I wouldn't want to be caught passing those, my friend. No, I wouldn't. Hey, while I've got you here, Skeeter, while I have you here, I need to know something in regards to what's going on in the next couple of months for me. I'm about to officially retire on January 4th.
Woohoo!
That's the crowd. Financially, I'm getting a couple of big chunks of money, a severance pay for like 20 million years of work. So it's going to be a crap load. Revenue Canada are going to build a new wing on on their offices for the amount of tax they'll be paying on that. And they're buying my leave and holidays out, too. So I'm getting a big whack of that. But I've been kind of snooping around for little part-time jobs. Like I may go back into acting, which I did back before I was a Mountie too. And there's tons of movies and TV series being filmed up here. So please go see the latest Planet of the Apes movie, Star Trek, and what was the other movie? Oh, the new whatever that Captain Jack guy is, Pirates of the Caribbean. So they were all filmed here. And the X-Files is coming back. And Supergirl. And all those other ones. Supernatural. Blah, blah, blah. So they're all being filmed here. And I was going to get back into that. Could you tell me financially how I'm going to be doing in the next year? And see who comes through?
Watch your spending.
What? Oh, well, that bad, huh? Crap.
You're gonna be okay, but the first thing I heard was be careful, not to get too excited and celebrational.
Oh.
Because it's not this year; it's the year after that everything's gonna get tight.
Get tight? Did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's 2018. Things are going to be a little bit tight.
Yes.
And do you see me moving at all?
There's two individuals who step forward. One's a gentleman and one's a lady. And she's saying she'd prefer if you didn't move, but if you have to, it's okay. And he said that you moving is a definite possibility.
Okay.
But it's not to where you think you're moving.
Well, I don't even know where I'm moving, so we can't be where I think I'm moving. Who are these people?
She said something about a great aunt.
A great
and he's
aunt.
not talking.
Oh, a great aunt.
But he's kind of scruffy.
Oh, don't know either of them.
Big walrus mustache. That's all I can see on him. And it's gray.
Related or not related?
Not related.
Gord? Guy named Gord?
He responded to that name.
Does he have tattoos?
I can't say for sure. He just held up his arm. So, yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's Gordy. 240 Gordy.
He just laughed.
Oh, okay. That's Gordy. That's cool. Say hi. Because he's my buddy. And does he have a bird near him?
Something said cracker. I don't know what that was about. But
okay.
I'm going to take it that he's saying yes right now.
All right. Mickey was his parrot's name.
Well, that would explain the cracker thing. He's saying it's good that as far as moving goes, someone's going to present to you a location, but don't take that location. It's going to be the second location. So when you're not going to be moving where you think you're going to be moving.
Okay.
That's what he means by that.
Okay. And are my children going to be moving there too? Or are they going to be staying with their mom?
He said no, not at first.
Okay. That makes sense then. And the lady is a great aunt. That's cool, because I don't know any of my great aunts at all on either side of my family, my mom's side or my dad's side. The other question is do I get my empathic side from my mother's side of the family or my father's?
Mother.
Whoa,
Mother.
calm down. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's kind of cool.
He says that's why she always knew kind of what you were up to without having to call you out.
Oh, drat. Did she know she was like this too?
Yes.
And she kept it a secret, the little Dickens. Okay.
Yes. Well, it wasn't proper. It wasn't considered a thing that you could talk about in her circles.
Yeah. My mom was a conservative from Alberta, Canada, who also enjoyed going out and partying in Vancouver when she was in her 20s. So, different time, different group of people.
Yes.
My mom would be somebody I would hang out with now, actually. If she was my age, or we were in our 20s, we'd probably hang out and go to the same places. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. It was really cool to be able to bounce over there. There's somebody who says, in the chat room, they can't call in because they're overseas. V.
It's V.
Yeah, because you
James
can call
V
in
from our class.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Unless
it's V. She has a question for Skeeter, and Skeeter already knows the question.
Okay. Did she answer it in
I don't know
chat?
the question yet. I'm just saying hi.
Oh, okay. What kind of psychic are you then if you don't know the question? Go ahead.
Well, the person waiting for her is saying that it's going to be okay. So I'm not sure what that means.
Her question is, how's my 2017 looking for both work and relationship?
Well, she's got me.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
What was the question again, Paisley? I just had someone switch out on me.
Sure, she's asking about
flip.
Yeah, she's asking about work and also relationship for 2017. If you have like an overall general and anything that you could give to her, any information.
The gentleman who stepped forward for V. Oh, there's her question. As far as career, switch. He says you've already got something planned and you're nervous about switching. Yes, financially. I don't know if you all have ramen noodles there, but it is going to be ramen noodle season for you. But you need this change. Relationships, a little touch and go right now for the upcoming year. Consider this catch and release season for 2017. I hope that makes sense.
That makes sense to us.
So, but yeah, definitely jump with the career, and catch and release for relationships.
Wow, awesome.
CV, I told you we'd work out. It's no problem. You can catch and release me.
I hope.
Or hope not. She'll never come back to class. Oh, no. Oh, poor kid.
Yeah, if you're breaking up, that's good. It's part of the catch and release system. So just kind of let him go. Don't make me sing the song. It's already in my head. I've got a daughter. I can sing the whole song, chorus, and everything. But let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Oh, I'm sorry. The connection is bad there, V. I'm gonna type "let him go."
Yeah, you've got one of those connections like on the Wizard of Oz when I can't. You're fading. Auntie M, come back. Okay.
Oh, it's
Disregard.
my new mic. Thank you, Robert. I'm trying to get used to it. If I have to, I'll take it back to the store tomorrow and switch it out for a different one.
Put a sock on it. And I'm serious. Put a sock over it if you can. I've got a great big foam sock and a fancy little pop guard on it.
I've got a foam sock on it.
Well, then, you are a sewer and things like that. I have a 4-inch round thingy-doo-doo. It's one of those bamboo round holders that you hold your needlepoint in.
Yeah.
And I put a real nylon stocking a couple of times over it and pinch it in, and it's on a clamp. So it's a spit guard or a pop guard. Or you can do that. You can buy one for like $30-$40 online, or make one for $5. But use...
Well, does this work?
No, because I can't hear you. Talk.
So there, does that help?
That helped a bit, yeah.
I may end up... Okay.
Yeah, that's really good. That's clearer. It's not a...
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like right against my lips. So what you guys are hearing isn't static. It's me blowing you all kisses.
That's...
So I may be taking this one back tomorrow.
Okay.
I thought I was being clever, but I wasn't.
Clever girl. That's me doing my weird voice. Yes, I think it was on Friday. I had 4 beer. That's why I'm giddy. Skeeter, when was the last time you had a reading?
Actually, I had one. Oh, it's been a while.
Oy.
I think I had one shortly after I had one from you.
Oh, yeah, right. I gave you a reading, didn't I?
Yep.
Oh, I gave you a reading.
And that was it.
Oh, good. How about you, Paisley?
I had a reading yesterday.
You did?
I did.
And how was it?
It was interesting. The information wasn't a lot of information that came through. It was a few words, and all of the words that were spoken were really accurate.
Oh, that's interesting, then.
Mediumship.
Mediumship. Yeah. Huh. Do you find, both of you who do this basically for a living, do you find it advantageous for you to go out and get these readings? Or is it something that you don't really worry about until, you're thinking about it? Maybe I want to go on a trip or something, and I should get a reading before I go to make sure I'm packing the right luggage or something. Or is it one of those things that you never think about? You're too busy looking at giving a reading to other people. Either of you. Jump in.
For me, I'm actually rather defensive about being read for personal reasons. Okay. But I find that when I need a reading, someone normally catches me, like with you. I read you, you read me, I read you, type of deal. But normally, I don't seek out readings, which is really kind of weird since I talk to spirits so much. What about you, Paisley?
I love to get readings, and because I work so often with other readers, I don't usually seek out readings from people, but quite often other readers might come to me and say, I haven't had a reading for a while. Do you want to do a trade? Or I have a question for you, that kind of thing. So sometimes it's nice to get and give a little bit of information to and from another psychic. And it's interesting, too, because even if the other psychic, for example, uses the same tarot deck that I use, their language is different, their style is different, the way they present the information is completely different. So it's quite interesting for me to be read. I really quite enjoy it a lot. I feel really blessed to have so many psychic people around me.
One of the things that I was interested in and want to kind of expand on this a little bit, if you can, in the last 20 minutes here, is during a reading, if somebody asks, like, I'm always nervous. I want to ask Skeeter to talk to me about a past life experience. I don't know if that's the right protocol in a quote-unquote psychic reading, but the same thing, how do I know what your expertise is? Will you be able to, will somebody come forward and tell me about what I was doing in a past life, a specific past life? Or I had a dream and I have a question about a dream. Is it something that you kind of set out? I do readings, but if you want to do me to talk to you about a dream, a message in a dream, is that something that falls under your divination, what you do? Or do you have I know, Skeeter, you have a great list of everything that you have done in the past. It was pointed out to me that I was an animal communicator, and it baffled me until I realized, I was getting information from a past animal talking about the present animal. Didn't dawn on me that was animal communication, but I guess it is. It still, to me, was spirit communication. But Paisley, too, it's like, is there certain things that you kind of put on your shingle? This is what I do, and let's not really venture too far off of that?
Well, one thing that I've noticed with a lot of people that are intuitive is that they're super talented. And sometimes I'll get a card from another psychic, and it'll say mediumship, spiritual counseling, tarot cards, crystal ball, Reiki, reflexology, astrology. It's just like, you get their business card and it's, exactly. It's just a little bit too much. And I think the perception is sometimes that if the person is super talented in 12 different areas, like, how good are they at any one of those things? And like, having said that, I don't do a lot of tea leaf readings, and I don't do a lot of crystal ball readings. Very, very rarely. So mainly I do numerology and psychometry, but my list is pretty long as well. Like, I teach tea leaf reading, I can teach crystal ball, I can teach telepathy, but I don't do that so much in my readings. Does that sort of, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. As a user of psychics, as a consumer, it's always nice to know, like, if I want to know something about my past life, do I have to go to a past life regressionist and get hypnotized and do the whole thing? Or can I go to somebody like you, Skeeter, and say, hey, can you tell me anything about my past life?
The hypnotherapists are really good. They can actually take you back and help you resolve some issues. Someone like me, I can dig into it. I can bring it to the surface. I can give you information. Like with Dave that one day, I was able to talk him back, and we were able to make some needed connections for him to get verification. So I would actually recommend both. If you can see, for me, for my past lives, I actually worked with a psychotherapist who did hypnotherapy, and we were able to make some really interesting tie-ins for myself, that I'm actually getting ready to work with another psychic who specializes in past lives on writing a book about. So, and hopefully my therapist hasn't completely gone into retirement. Hopefully he'll help us write the book. So it's really good to hit several people to get all the pieces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And speaking of dreams, we have a young man here who a question popped into his head, and he has a question about his dreams. Derek?
Hey, it's me again.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
The bonus of listening to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I was curious. I had a really vivid dream, and I don't really dream that often. Like, I'll maybe have like a couple a year or so that I like really recall, but this one was really vivid, and it was when I felt like I was being taken down, like inside the earth, like to an actual inner earth, like civilization almost, and taken through some hallways and even shown a symbol of who was taking me down there or something. So I was wondering, like, what that dream meant, or if I was really taken down there.
Skeeter, do you do dream interpretation a little bit?
Yeah, I do.
She does
and
now.
Something really weird hit me. Wow.
Derek likes really weird, just so you know. That's right up his alley. He likes really weird.
I really apologize. Something just literally ran through me and just totally wiped out what I was thinking. Could you repeat what you said? Because literally it was just erased.
Uh-oh.
Maybe they don't want me to.
No, I've got a guardian with me now, so go ahead and say it.
Okay. I had a really vivid dream, and that I was taken down into inner Earth to some kind of civilization and taken through some tunnels and corridors and whatnot, and even shown a symbol of who was bringing me down there.
But it wasn't on this planet. It was another planet.
It felt like it was this, like I was taken down to inner Earth.
There's a really huge energy behind me. And he's saying it wasn't... He's saying it was this planet, but not in this...
dimension?
Orbit. Not in this orbit.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It was this planet, different orbit, which would have made it a different planet at the time.
Mm.
And he's saying what you were shown is something that you've seen before. The symbol you were shown is actually one of our planet's early gods.
Yep.
Kronos.
Kronos? Is that
Or
what you said?
what's his other name? Uranus.
Okay, you're kind of breaking up, kind of staticky.
Uranus.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So go ahead.
What you were being shown was something really old, and it's to prepare you for what's coming.
Okay, that makes sense. And why I know this was a significant dream is because then, like, the next night, something wrapped itself around me from behind when I was in between a dream and wake state, and it gave me sleep paralysis. But I felt it wrap around me, and I'd only felt that a couple times in my life before. But it was an entity or something I felt. And it was like the night after that vivid dream.
It wasn't meant to frighten you, he says.
Huh.
This dude's really old.
Could you
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you're up high, it's not just a fear of heights, but there's actually something about being up high that it's like almost exhilarating, but kind of a scary exhilarating, but a good exhilarating.
Mm-hmm.
And you really hate when people tell you you need to get grounded. Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you had lots of dreams where you should be flying, like you have wings? And it really annoys you because whenever you just about get to flight, something or someone pulls you down?
Yeah. Something brings me back. Like if I'm about to like jump off a cliff and I feel I'm going to take off or something, or whenever I feel like I'm about to leave the ground, I'm pulled back. Yeah.
Do you have any scars on your back?
Yes.
Kind of, if you had wings, let's say theoretically humans could have wings, would the scars be in the location along your spine and back where wings would be?
I do have some stuff back there, like on the right side. I think the left too.
Yeah.
I have to look. I don't really look at my own back.
This is really going to sound weird, but which archangel are you most drawn to? It's one of the lesser ones.
Michael.
Michael?
Uh-huh.
And
Metatron.
Metatron. That one's definitely resonating.
Staring at Metatron's cube right now. I've been drawn to that lately. A lot. Ever since I saw it.
I would start listening to Metatron, and I'd start listening and watching for signs. Metatron speaks. So I would listen for sound cues or guides. What I'm seeing...
Sorry, Skeeter, I hate to interrupt you. You're almost inaudible.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
I just went that way.
It's really hard to make out what you're saying.
Okay, let me
that's
try
better.
Something.
Nope, right there. That's good.
Right there?
Yeah, you're crystal
okay,
clear.
I'm going to hold my left leg in the air until the end of this.
Good Lord, woman.
I am so taking this headphone back. It's really weird what I'm being shown. And what I'm being shown is that you used to be an angel. And you chose to come down. And actually, you're the person I would go to for help. When we were talking earlier about getting readings, if you offered me a reading, I would say yes. And believe me, I'm very defensive about who I get readings from. You've got a very strange energy about you. It's almost chaotic, but it's healing at the same time. They're like the calm after the storm. When everything settles and people are counting their blessings. So what you're seeing is preparation for you to know where you came from. And to know where you're going back to soon.
That makes sense.
And you've been getting calls. Have you ever felt like you've been called to like a priesthood or shamanism, but never really quite knew which one to lean towards?
Yes.
That's because none of them are what you're truly of.
I've never been... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you first.
Oh, I was just going to say I've never... I've always felt this spiritual connection, this God sense presence in everything, but I never got it from religion. I never felt any of them fit or were even had a point. I don't know.
Yeah, that's because what you know, it doesn't exist in the modern world.
Skeeter, do you have a pen and paper?
Yes.
Pencil and paper?
I do.
Could you write down this word? Y-A-H-O-E-L. And does that resonate?
Y?
Yeah, Y-A-H-O-E-L. Because I don't know how to pronounce it. But I was wondering if that resonates to anything you're talking about with Derek.
Yeah, it does.
In what way?
It says home.
Home?
Truth.
Truth, okay. It's the name of an angel that appeared in old church Slavonic manuscripts of the Apocalypse of Abraham, a pseudo-pigraphic work dating after the siege of Jerusalem. He's an associate of Michael, charged to restrain Leviathan and destroy idolaters. Another later work described him to Ismaili ben Elijah in the Hebrew scripts as one of the 70 names of Metrodon, which makes sense in the light of the character and role of Yahul in the Apocalypse of Abraham. It's the angel over fire.
Yeah.
Just wondering if that is one of the ones that is very, very strong in Derek, or if that is Derek.
I'm going to say it is him.
Shite. Very cool.
No, I wish you all could see what's standing behind me. I mean, it was a massive wall of something, and it was masculine, and you could just see this dark energy, like, just wrap around like a pair of old, just gigantic wings, but they weren't feathery wings. They were just
energy?
Huge energy.
Yeah. Charged to restrain Leviathan and destroy idolaters. So basically, he's one of Michael's, I almost said minions. I can't remember what they're called. The soldiers that work for in the legions. There's legions of these guys.
That's it.
Yeah, this guy was one of the head guys, and he was charged to restrain Leviathan, which is a very nasty demon. And I don't know what an idolater is, but it probably is just nasty people, and to destroy them. So he's basically a keeper of peace and fighter of negative energies and demonic. Very, very cool, Derek.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're my friend.
Oh, man. Yeah, right. Oh. You know what's funny is that guy that you mentioned who had contacted me, his profile picture was Metatron's cube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and he said that he didn't know why, like what, he's like, yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was really cool, and I put it up as my profile picture. I was like, well, it's one of the reasons why I even answered your message that you sent me.
No, you're being called back. You're
Now,
being woken up.
When we talked about your light family, your light being family, what is the dimension that you were always given? Which dimension was your light family from?
I was never. Someone had said ninth dimension, but either the 9th or the 6th. I don't know. Those two felt like they'd be pretty correct, but I don't know exactly. Okay.
Very cool.
Do you know, Skeeter? Do you get a feeling of what dimension they're from?
6th.
6th. Okay.
That is cool. So, other than that, I hope you have a really good sleep tonight, buddy.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't dream much, but I sleep so well.
I wonder why you don't dream much. That is fascinating to me because I dream 3 or 4 times a night.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. But when I do dream, they're very real. Like my last one, I was in a classroom, and there were a bunch of people talking about a reorganization of society, and everyone's picking jobs, and I'm just sitting there thinking, man, these guys have no idea, like, that I helped facilitate this whole transition, and I'm not going to tell them, but I was just a secretive part of it.
No, that's because you're part of the group that's overseeing it.
And
So-
You're one of the bosses.
That's kind of cool.
No, that translates right into what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah,
Oh, man, thank you.
Next time we want to talk to an angel, we'll just call Derek.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, thank you so much. So awesome.
So, Derek,
Thanks.
no pressure, buddy, but you got to keep your nose clean.
Step it up.
Step up. Yeah, and we'll talk about Tiberius Julius Alexander, the siege of Jerusalem, and how you kicked some ass back then in the year 70.
That's what we did.
Yeah, we kicked some little British guys dressed as Romans, because all the Romans had a British accent. Caesar, shall we attack the tower? Oh, yes. All right, Derek, and all right, Skeeter, and all right, Paisley, who is running because she has stuff to do, and birds to stuff, and cats to skin, and all those other things that a witch does. No, she's not a witch. Please go see. Get a hold of Paisley. She's a hoot. She's actually a really hoot. She's way older than me. Just ask her. And she is my mother. She sends me texts to watch the clock and not to be a smart ass. And you know how that works. Please go to her website, paisleytown.com. Give her a shout if you want a reading. Numerology, if you're in the area. If you want to send her a photograph, email it to her. She can print it off and do some work on that. And if you're local, check out some of the classes that she's giving. And unfortunately, you might get stuck with me in one of them. Sorry. But yeah, some good ones. And of course, Skeeter. And she is at, I want to say, Blue Moon Weaver. Holy cow. Is that it?
BlueMoonWeaver.com.
Oh, God. BlueMoonWeaver.com. And you can send her an email, bluemoonweaver@gmail.com. And they're my friends. And they are your friends. And they are here to basically help us understand what's going on the other side. I want to say thank you to our friend and often guest, Derek Faust, who we've now learned is an angel. Which is cool. I'm going to go hang out with him. Maybe he'll get a good word in. And who knows? Could help in the long run. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody listening, everybody out there. And remember, please, until next week anyway, just keep an open mind. Derek?
This is our last goodbye. Young hearts will stop. Torn souls set free. All that we have is now. If this is what you want, then come to me.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. And hey! Let's be careful out there.
Far over the snow, what are those voices? They sing as they go. What are those voices? Look over the mountains. Because somebody died, somebody better hide on through the hill, like a pack of angry wolves on the trail. Dead or alive, we are out to get you, dead or alive. And forget yourself. If you're the one, better run away. Son, you are done, throw your gun away. Here come the Mounties to get the man they're after now. Run through the hill like a pack of angry wolves on the trail. Dead or alive.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dave's not here!
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.